Hello, people. This is me. I'm back again. And while our president, Trump, is over begging President Xi, China, on his knees begging for help with the Iran war to open up the Strait of Hormuz, I'm going to change the subject back to the uh, gerrymandering. The gerrymandering that is going on in the southern states. When the Supreme Court ruled that 61 majority black districts in Congress was unconstitutional, while leaving the other 370 majority white districts as constitutional. Figure that out. I can't figure that. But anyway, that's the law. It's the law of the land. Um, the southern states, they didn't have to. They could have just left things as they were, like the northern states. But the southern states, the Confederacy, the states that fought to preserve slavery, fought to keep black people in slavery, and and the and most of them that died and fought didn't own not one slave. They was fighting for the rich man, the rich plantation. Same thing they're doing now. They're voting and fighting for rich folks because Trump and his crowd and other Republicans don't care nothing about them. But that's the South. That's the South. As long as Trump is disparaging black and brown people, they okay with it. But what they did is evil. They scattered black people around in districts. They took the people in Memphis and put them in three different districts: 30% here, 30% there, and 30%. And they're going to do the same thing in Alabama, in Montgomery, all the other southern black districts. They're going to scatter them out because our Supreme Court, Trump's Supreme Court, ruled that they was illegal, the black districts, but the white majority districts are legal. So they're going to do that. The southern states, they have they are the the former Democratic South, the solid Democratic South, they used to call them. Okay, and then when when their party was wrestled from them, from liberal people back in civil rights, they formed their own party, the Dixiecrats. They formed the Dixiecrats, and later they took their racism to the Republican Party. They found solace there in the Republican Party, and now they are back in the saddle again. Now they're doing what they always wanted to do. What they always wanted. The South never gave up the fight. They never gave up the fight. They just waited for their time. They waited us out. So that's what they're doing. They're scattering them out. Now, let me tell you something. Congressman Claiborne, South Carolina, said one thing, and it's true. He said, "Be careful. Be careful what you wish for, because they could create. They could take down one black district and create three Democratic districts by spreading people out 30% here, 30% there, and 30% there. They are creating uh, 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 they may be creating Democratic districts. 30%, 30% blacks. It don't take many more progressive whites or Democratic whites or Democratic independents to make that district, to give that district a Democrat elected to Congress. So be careful what they wish for, because this thing may backfire on them. May backfire. They see what they've done. They've dismantled the Voting Rights Act. They'll dismantle it. That's right. Took everything, but they left us the right to vote. That's where they made their mistake. They left black people the right to vote. They should have taken that. And with Trump's Supreme Court giving him immunity from prosecution, when all legal minds laughed at the idea when he filed it, but they gave him immunity from prosecution. The Trump Supreme Court, who he talked to every night, the Trump Supreme Court, who Alito and Thomas' wife worked with the Stop the Steal group, the Trump Supreme Court. They could have taken our right to vote. Can't fight. They're the law of the land. They are the last law. They are the last line, and they have ruled that majority black districts are unconstitutional. Now, they've ruled that, and they could have took the right to vote, but they didn't do it. That's where they made their mistake. That's where they made their mistake, because black people are angry all over America, and when they're angry, they're going to vote. Okay, they're going to vote, and as Claiborne said, be careful what you wish for. Be careful now, because we may get more seats than you bargained for. More seats than you bargained for. You trying to cut us down, but we're going to be there. 50 years from now, some young black guy probably is going to stand up somewhere and say, they almost got us. They did everything to us. They took Voters' Rights Act. They took away the representation. They took away the pre-clearance in Section 5. Then they took Section 2. But one thing they did wrong, one mistake they made, they left us with the right to vote. And that's why we're here today. That's 50 years. That's why we're here today, surviving because of the right to vote. So if you hear this and you're not registered to vote, go vote. That's the only thing we got left, and we can do that. So folks, that's it in a nutshell about this gerrymandering. So I'll have another subject when I see you later. Bye-bye.